mind bend, non-ordinary and extraordinary states of consciousness for mind bend creative.
Mr. Snow, thank you for joining today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we just got done with the Awakening of Consciousness Conference here in Los Angeles last weekend. Had you gone the year before?
No.
First time with it.
First time.
How did you get wrapped up in that? For anybody who doesn't know, the Awakening of Consciousness Conference was a conference about all things psychedelic, and it occurred at a venue called Hazy LA in Lincoln Heights, and it was put together by the Psychedelic Institute. I got to moderate some panels, and a lot of people came through. It was really an interesting experience. It was a hot experience.
Oh, well, it's the summer.
But it was in a non-air conditioned room.
Definitely.
Yeah, so there was kind of a ceremonial component of the conference, I think, with all the sweating that was going on and all the water consumption. But what brought you into the fold?
I met Paul at another event, and we just stayed in touch. He liked what I did on as far as like with music, and just the overall mindset that I have, which he liked, and he just kept me in the loop.
Yeah. So talk about the mindset, your mindset as it relates to, what is your mindset? How did your mindset appeal to Paul specifically, and what he believes is his mission to bring together people in the psychedelic community and discuss the issues that are relevant to everybody's experience?
Oneness.
That's your mentality, your mindset.
Yeah. Oneness, which he shares as well. Just we're in a world where we're constantly being separated by something, whether it be religion, whether it be gender, whether it be, it's just separation all over the place. So oneness is definitely the core principle that we both share, and also integrity. Other than that, I mean, just solid.
Is it safe to say that you have the most familiarity in terms of experiencing psychedelic compounds with psilocybin mushrooms?
Correct.
Yeah. Talk to us about how you came into an awareness of psilocybin mushrooms and how you realized that they were going to play a part in your life.
I didn't. I just 2018. I had an out-of-body experience, which is when I introduced myself to myself, and it wasn't with the psilocybin, but like a couple weeks prior to that, I had for the first time. Before that, the only psychedelics I ever done was acid when I was young, like 18, 19.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've always heard that the mushroom is a lot cleaner because it's not made up. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. And yeah, the first time I did mushrooms, I walked for like 8 hours straight.
Walked?
Yeah, it just does it for me. You know what I'm saying? I got really in tune with nature and myself, and it added to what was already there.
Where did you get your mushrooms for the first time?
Man, I was in Florida. My dude Nick, he always used to have mushrooms, and it never called for me, but when it did, I reached out to Nick. We bought like a half, and I think I ate maybe like 4 grams, 5 grams, and just.
And the setting was in the city, or was it out?
It was at my house.
Yeah, it was at your house.
So,
okay, yeah. You were living in Florida at the time.
I lived in Florida, and in the community I lived, it's a golf course. Within that community.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of open spaces, a lot of green. Again, because it's a golf course.
Yeah.
So I just walked. Walked the golf course at night. Nobody, sprinklers is going on. All of these things is happening.
It was at nighttime.
Yeah, it was at night.
Yeah.
And I lived in that community for about 7 years, so I knew a lot of the people there. So it was my backyard. So I would just walk in, having experiences. It was me and my friend Phoenix Jones from Cleveland. He had came to visit. We was doing some music, and it was just like all of that together. And it was just like after that, the first thought was just like, why isn't everybody on this? That was the initial like.
Yeah.
Everybody should at least experience this oneness, and that's what I felt with the psilocybin.
That was your experience from start to finish? You didn't have any kind of like build up or anxiety or anything other than a comfortable, interconnected feeling?
Yeah. Well, again, like I've already was moving in the direction of that. My body, my mind, everything I was listening to was just gearing towards that oneness, and then psilocybin just kind of put it all together and was like, this is what oneness feels like.
Dig deeper into that feeling as presented by the psilocybin. Can you just illustrate, like, what was it about the experience that felt evocative of oneness to you? I know it's like hard to describe the ephemeral.
No. It's not really. So you often, as you sit outside, I'm an outside kind of guy, and I started, and now I'm listening to the rhythm of life, and you hear the crickets, and you hear all these everyone just doing their thing, and that's life constantly every night. It's a new party. It sounds like this, you know what I'm saying? Like all the animals, the birds, everything is, but there's no competition. Everyone's just doing themselves, and just listening to that, and then looking at the trees, and all of these things that often we just look at because they're there, right? You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at them like, oh, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're here, and all these things was happening, and in every block too, because the sound wasn't the same in every block. So as I walked to a different block, it was a different group, different what you would call an orchestra.
Yeah, different section of the orchestra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would pop up, and you just like, oh shit, the smells, it was just in every block. You got the plants that smell differently, flowers, all of these things was just constant. And then it was like the floor was I want to say like a topaz, teal. It looked like it was revealing itself, like everything was revealing itself to me, and I was just like, wow, I never really looked at it that way. So I just, I got to experience that, and it was just like, and it has never stopped since then. You know what I mean? Even when I'm not on it, I look at things more in depth, and the reason why they're here, all of that makes sense to me now.
Was there a version of you prior to the sense that's made now? Was there a version of you that didn't carry with you that wonder and sense of interconnectedness?
Yeah, 39 years of my experience. I'm 44 now, so 39 years prior to that, it was like, we're just going along, going along with life, just kind of like, not really diving in, and it felt like the light had just came on, and I actually seen things, like it was a feeling like this was my first breath. It was like my first encounter with life, and everything else was just the build up to that. It was, but it's purpose. At one point I got upset at that, but then it was like, nah, because I wouldn't appreciate it as much as I do now if it was just that. You know what I mean? All the whole time, like no.
Yeah.
And that's why life is so beautiful, because it shows you what it needs to show you when it needs to show you. It's not like you just get all this at once. Nah, you get to experience it as you deep down, because it's there. It's not like it's not there, you know. But are you willing to see it? You know, we could go in the wilderness all we want, and like Natasha, she knows all the plants. We could go into the jungle and I'm straight with her because she knows this is for this is for that.
That's her passion. That's what she.
Me, I could go into the jungle. I'm a star because I don't know. Okay, you can eat this, stay away from that. That mend the fire, like all that. Nah, and that's what it did for me. It allowed me to see all of it for what it is, because it's here for a reason. It needs us just as much as we need it. Like we need the water, but the water needs us too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? All of the intricacies that it is being.
You suggested earlier that maybe this was something that you felt that you would like for everyone to experience.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. How do you think that would work? How do you think it's a personalized experience, right? Like coming to something like that. You had a moment to take a walk and you had the evening to explore and be on your own. Like, how do people just grasp the idea that with mushrooms in particular, it's going to be different for everybody, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. When it has such a bad rep, you know, just like cannabis, you know, it's so many. When you say psilocybin and mushroom, what's the first thing you think about? Trip, partying,
Tripping.
yeah.
Yeah. And that term is kind of related to recreation or excess or something, right? Superfluous.
So again, that's the initial, like, oh no, I don't want to trip, man. People that had never came back. That's very small number, and at the same time, how much did that person eat? You know, my son, when she was giving birth, she was microdosing. So, yeah, like we know what it is. We're not afraid of it. People are afraid of it. So if you going in with that intention, then what you think the result's going to be? It's not going to be favorable.
If you go in with the mindset that there's something to be afraid of,
Yeah,
there's fear in there.
1,000%. So then that's because that's already what's there. It's not that the mushroom created that. It's that the stigma behind that is that. So with those intentions, with anything in life, you know, if you a paranoid person and you smoke some weed, you're just gonna be even more paranoid.
How would you describe a paranoid person?
I'm not paranoid, but I've known people that are paranoid. They just twitchy looking, you know what I'm saying? Just sketch about everything.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not grounded or suffering from something that hasn't been addressed or suffering from something that's really hard to address.
Well, we don't know where it stems from till we know where it stems from. You know, if someone grew up in here, like in LA, you know, it's gang culture. You know, so people that grow up in that environment, of course they're gonna be head on a swivel. You know, because again, they know what that looks like and they've been out there. So if you out there and you know how things look and how they operate, then your head has to be on the swivel. I came to LA like with the mindset of growing, building, adding value. So I've been here for almost 4 years, and people are like, yo, how are you able to maneuver around? You ain't really know nobody when you went out there. I'm like, I don't have to. I know me.
Yeah.
So by nature, I know you.
Well, you're working with people. You're making it a point to show up in a kind of a guide capacity, would you say? Or how would you describe it? Is that
Yeah.
accurate? Yeah.
Just just to kind of set the tone, and introduce something that is natural, because it is. It's not. Well, psilocybin is natural. So all about it is natural, and it's the oldest plant, so it has the most information. So it's giving you the most information in real time, and also, the intention behind it with people, because we're entering a time where people really want to have a different experience with themselves, about themselves. So we get to do this for them.
How have you gathered that? How have you gathered that's what people are looking for, a different experience of themselves?
Cause you just see it. I've been when when I when I went through my experience, and then the people that I encountered was like, yo, you're driven in this way, and you're approaching life differently, and again, my whole life I was over 300 pounds my whole life. So they're like, yo, man, you working out, you treating yourself differently. I'm like, yeah, because once you introduce love to you, that's second nature. Shows you that, nah, you want to take care of your temple, you want to take care of your body, you want to take care of your mind, you want to make sure that all of it is looked after, and you're caring for it. So initially, you see people moving in that direction, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh man, these people, they're feeding themselves differently. The music they're listening to, with the podcast, all of these things, people are really feeding themselves differently. They want the desire to have a different human experience than separation, a different human experience than fear, a different human experience than everything that's been fed to them, destruction and all of these things, because that's not all that's happening. They tell us every day how many people die, right? But they don't tell us how many are born. So it's like it's skewed. We're going around here like we're in the losing side. Humans are walking around like we're on the losing side. Like, nah, man. Like, that person that just passed, another one just took his place in real time. So it's a constant juggle, and we just approaching ourselves with more intent. And we just went from Pisces to Aquarius, so Aquarius is mental. So this was where we at, man. You can't run from you no more.
How are you finding people to work with? Who's coming to you, and can you break down, please, the process of taking somebody, taking? I mean, it's not a client, but it's how do you describe your process of working with people to have an experience and that they can benefit from?
I don't market myself. It's more like you come into my experience, and I listen to you, and we talk, and I kind of see where you at, and if it presents itself that you look to be guided in any kind of way, then we move forward. But it's not. You see, I'm this way all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm constantly on the building mode with people.
Sure.
So it's not like it's just, oh no, this is what I do, and then leave them off that way.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't. People come, yes, and but for the most part, it's just allowing the moment to be. It's not like I'm seeking people to because that's one of the main things. Like when people really desire to have a different experience, they'll go for it.
But there's a lot of marketing out there, right?
Yeah,
We're saturated with marketing. It's always sales messaging and ad messaging, right?
yeah, but that's all we know. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to sell you nothing. If you feel like you desire a different experience and you see what I'm doing is something that you would like to perhaps uh, do and move within the same, then yeah, I could show you these things, and you know if you do want to do some sessions, by all means, cool. But I'm not in it for that. You know what I mean? It's just the how we all benefit is by you being better. So if that's what the individual desires, then let's grow. But I'm not about to force that on you. That's because again, like it's often people that find themselves feel like it's their duty to help others. Yes, in a sense, but not plucking them from where they at and then leave. Now you got to carry them because you just plucked them from where they at. Leave them where they at, and then build with them as gradually. And the whole thing is just allowing people to find the answers for themselves. That's all I do. Nudge you in the way of you. You know what I'm saying? Listen to you, see what you're telling yourself. Mind reconstruction. Change what you're telling you. Make what you're telling you lighter. That's how I help.
Do you do that? So we're talking about insights and incorporating or integrating experience from a psychedelic ceremony, a mushroom ceremony.
Correct.
Specifically, right?
Yeah.
So practically speaking, are you in in an environment? Are you outside? Are you inside? You're outside? Okay.
Yeah.
And you there's an understanding that you are going to be with this person for the duration of their experience?
Correct.
Okay. And during those experiences, talk to me about like the variety of what is it like for the people who are having the experience in front of you? Are they what's the range like? So for someone who's never been through an experience like that, like are they communicating with you the whole time? Do they check out for a while? Do they fall asleep? Are they wearing a blindfold? Are they able to assess what's going on? Does it only happen later? Like, talk to me a little bit about the nuance of those experiences with people.
Well, they vary.
Yeah.
Because you got some people that go inward with themselves. You got people that are more outgoing and they want to walk. More in a setting of outside. But if the medicine, which I don't like to call medicine, they're tuners, speaks to you in whatever way, we flow. Everything is a flow. If you go inwards, cool. If you need to cry, cool. If you just want to laugh, cool. And everyone is different. I had one guy fell asleep for 4 hours. Just needed some rest. He slept. Cool. Got up, was like, man, that was the best rest. Lucid dreaming. You know what I'm saying? All of these things took place. And wonderful. And everyone, they have their own tolerance. Mostly it's through a tea. I grind it, put it in the tea. We drink it evening. I've done something sometimes in the morning. When we was in Puerto Rico, we actually we rented out a home. It was seven people. It was in a mountain setting. So every morning we get together, and those that wanted to partake, they partook, and just Everyone is different. And just kind of diffusing all the stigmas behind it. 'Cause a lot of people, they just, some of them it's their first time, and they just like, man, I don't know why I'm here, but I needed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like they called on to do this. Some of them get invited. My cousin, she's in Cleveland, and she does ceremonies as well, and she joined me in Puerto Rico. So it was like, again, 7 of us. We did hiking with the psilocybin, just kind of putting it all. We went to a junque and did a ceremony there as well. Just different scenarios, kind of like putting it in the everyday kind of thing, so that people could see that no, you could really microdose with this and still be functional and have a good time and connect with yourself. My cousin had an amazing moment, and it was this waterfall that we got to, and it was like the 5th day in, and she just started crying, and I just gave her a hug, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to the next level, because it gets deeper, and more people are starting to, again, want to get to know themselves. So it's very important that we educate ourselves, that we're in practice of all these things, and that we're mindful that everyone is going to have their own response to it. Everyone is different. Don't go into it thinking that it's just one way or methodical about it. It's more like, okay, look, this is what it is, and you start off talking to them, making sure you build that rapport, and they'll let you know. You kind of get a sense of where people are at most of the time.
You said a moment ago that you try not to use the term medicine. Did you say the trueness? Is that what you
Tuners.
said? A tuneness?
Tuner.
Oh, tuner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because on a journey I took with the mushroom, it told me not to call it medicine.
Okay.
Because we're energy. Energy doesn't get sick. It gets stagnant. So to identify with sickness is medicine.
Yeah.
So you're identifying with that.
Yeah.
So it just
Tuner.
when we know that words are powerful, and we're speaking this into an existence. So if I'm identifying with medicine, then I must be what? Sick.
Yeah. It it gets used a lot. I think of microdosing sometimes as a health supplement. And it seems like maybe that can be how it's viewed. But in any form, there's the tuner aspect is the predominant aspect for this particular reality of psilocybin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuning in to a frequency, to a broadcast, to a message.
Well, you're a vibration.
Yeah.
So what happens when the instrument is out of tune? You tune it. Just tuning it. That's all
Tuning up.
Yeah, you're just tuning you tuning you to that frequency of oneness. So, but yeah, it is used frequently, and there is going to be a drawback because people are still going to want to use, and they'll realize that what they're telling themselves is part of why they feel how they feel. Because again, if you're identifying with sickness, which your energy, then again, like you already yes, you are sick because you're telling you, not because you are.
Yeah, it's never been a very appealing. It seems less it seems less unruly to call it medicine, but it also doesn't seem accurate either, because because if for no other reason, because of the, like you said, the association,
Yeah.
giving words power, giving motifs power, an understanding over time. Yeah, anytime growing up when you're little, if you happen to need medicine, that's kind of a state of fear, a state of shock or preparation or guarded. It's like, okay, there's something coming in, and it better blast whatever's nasty out of me. That's the best possible outcome. Medicated is kind of a pejorative term, isn't it? Like when we talk about people self-medicating, that seems to imply almost a weakness sometimes.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's just, I like to put it this way. You take medicine, you eat food. Take, eat. Those the two different worlds. You eat mushrooms. You don't take mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? So it's being able to look at it for what it is and for what you are. Because even in the process of Noel being born, we're in a hospital and they want to do all these things to him. I'm like, what we're telling the human body is it's not adequate to do all the things that it's here to do. It needs you, and it doesn't.
You mean in the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, it all boils down to money. It all boils down to money. Oh no, we're gonna do all these experiments. No, it's more money. You get to charge. You're charging people $300 to the insurance for a pill. So you're introducing the body as soon as it comes into this realm that is not adequate to do things on their own. And the doctor was like listening to me like, but after the whole thing he was just like, you made some valid points.
What were they trying to feed the baby?
Just they wanted to do these experiments and poke him and do all these things. I'm like, for what? Oh, because their levels that he's showing in some babies, we do a test to this, that, and I'm like, is it necessary? What would it change? They couldn't give me an answer.
What would it change?
Right.
They couldn't tell you. Even if they found something, what would it change in terms of how you're taking care of your
child? What would it change? They couldn't give me an answer.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're not doing it. Because if you're just doing it because, okay, it's gonna whether we need to put him on this or put him on that, and there he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, he's being fed. She microdosed to the whole thing. 30 minutes he was here, and she's breastfeeding, so he gets his psilocybin.
What brought you to Los Angeles?
Music.
Let's talk about that, because I was going to segue with a great pun from tuner to tunes, and I want to hear about your music.
Yeah, I came here again. 2018 was when I introduced myself to myself, and then I've been doing music since '96. It just kind of like it allowed me to see why I hone in that craft, to be able to speak to the masses in a way which is empowering, which is loving, which is caring, and get away from all this destruction music that we're putting out. In 2019, August, a friend of mine that was in Cleveland. Well, I grew up with him in Cleveland. Played baseball with him, little league and all that. And he was actually in Norwalk. He has a company where they do window tinting, and he had a studio. So I'm like, you looking to scale up, you're gonna need help. So I'll come and help you, and you let me record. So it was kind of like, so I got to help him, and I got to record, and I got to be in LA. So I was like, and around that time I had just separated from my ex-wife. So a lot of things was shifting in my experience. And I also knew that my new life was gonna cost me my old one. So kind kind of like, in a nutshell, I introduced myself to myself. I put out 3 mixtapes. I had a miscarriage. I separated from my wife, moved out, and a year later I was here.
How does LA feel to you?
Beautiful, only because I feel beautiful to me. It's never the place; it's the individual.
Place can have an effect on the individual, though.
No, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yet the individual drives that. You know what I mean? Like, if I came over here with a different mindset, I would have got a different experience. 1,000%.
Sure.
But LA is so progressive. People, I feel like a lot of people here are the genuine selves, and you have a lot of, Decepticons too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the way I look at California and LA, period, is just like whatever you're looking for, you'll find it in abundance.
Isn't there kind of an amplification aspect of life out here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I only moved out here a year ago.
Okay.
July
From where?
last year, Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
I lived in New York City for a number of years also, so I had been in a more concentrated city before, but
There's nothing. That city is New York City is wild in the sense of like how many people are within that little bit of space.
it's intense. Yeah, it's intense, and I definitely can relate to, obviously, wherever you go, there you are. You bring what you've got with you to every setting. But this place is fascinating. You know, the work with the psychedelics and journalism specifically, it made sense for me to come out here. And the unfolding of connections throughout the community has been really fun for me. It's been very satisfying because there are events like what we did last weekend. There are smaller meetups throughout. People like to share ideas about who you should meet or who you might enjoy talking to. And as somebody who has always valued the mycelial network of interconnectivity between people who like to express themselves, that's a very satisfying aspect of life here. It feels like the interdependence is almost a little bit more acknowledged here. And I like that. That's been my experience. And maybe that's just because that's what I'm putting out there. But
No, definitely. But yes, people are who they are, and for the music side of things, they're doing things at the highest level here. So I want to be around that. I want to be around people that immerse themselves in that expression of themselves, whether it be musically, artistically, fashion. I have a company where we do food production, clothing, cut and sew, pattern making, the whole nine. So it just go hand in hand. We just meeting and being around just creators.
you're making clothing?
Yeah.
Do you have a facility that you work out of?
Yeah, Main and
dedicated?
Pico is Newland, LA, and Main and Pico. I made the shirt.
I heard you say let's go earlier.
Yeah, so when merch, again, they go hand in hand, especially with music. So being around people that are just constantly evolving and creating, and just, man, I done seen things I was like, wow, yeah, y'all put that together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and with music, I don't play no instruments. My instrument is me. And so getting around people that play instruments and see things differently and how it all meshes, it's dope. I'm in heaven. You know what I mean? Like, I really am. Like, the sun is out. You know, I come from Cleveland.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a non-negotiable in my life at this point.
Yeah.
You know, some sun have to be out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I lived in Florida for 18 years, so the sun was out. I was born in Puerto Rico. The sun was out, and then the only time was when I was in Cleveland. And I was like, I love you, Ohio. This greatness and all this,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
cool with it.
Cleveland has an interesting vibe to it. I mean, every place is fascinating for one reason or another, but the times that I've been through Cleveland, I'm interested in industrial landscapes too.
Okay.
So driving through Cleveland, different parts of Cleveland, and just seeing all of the framework and the skeletons of this industrial
It's a steel city.
landscape. Yeah, yeah.
It's a steel city, and it's where a lot of the fresh water comes from. You know what I mean? Like the five lakes, the Great Lakes. Yeah, man. I love it. That winter, I'm cool. I'm cool with it. My family's still there, so I visit a lot.
Do you make music? Do you do it? Is there a process when you're going at music? Are you always doing it every day? Is it coming about? Does it hit you in flashes of inspiration?
In flashes.
Do you do something to catalyze the experience?
It does. It is in flashes. Like right now, I'm writing album number 12, so it'll be out on the 16th. So
And that's 12 since 2018.
Since 2020.
Since 2020.
Yeah. November 11th, 2020 was the first album of the Space Traveler. So every 3 months I put out a project. So the process has been how the process has been. Like when I wrote 2 weeks, I literally wrote it in like 2 weeks. Wrote it in 2 weeks. I was in the studio for maybe 8 hours to do the whole process.
What happens when you release music? Like what's that process like? You put it out. Are you putting it out on your own and on platforms?
On my website.
Yeah.
Put it out on my website. That don't know too much about the business to really do it any other way. But just building a catalog. That was the goal from the get go. Doing 16 projects. That's I could build a catalog and then move from there. Essentially, the goal is to do it all analog. I want to get away from anything digital. I want to give the people analog feel. Recording that warmth, what I'm saying, from the analog, putting it out on vinyl, like the whole nine, giving people that experience.
Do you prefer? How often do you make it a point to try to do your thing live?
Well,
I almost said perform.
Yeah.
But you busted me on this weekend. But that's not a term you use either. Medicine and perform.
I don't, because it's not an act. To me, it's not an act. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not performing.
Yeah.
But to me, analog and having that instrumentation, like having my guy there, the keyboard, he just came on board. So I was like, damn, look, even though he's playing over a track, he still could add color to it. That to me is everything. To be able to just have a nice 3 or 4 piece band and just speak to the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different experience.
Yeah.
Not only for yourself, but for the individuals.
Yeah.
It's the tonality, to be able to make a song that's normally 3 minutes into like 5 minutes just because you letting letting the players do what they do and they get to shine. Like all that interaction to me is beautiful.
It is. Tell us, we're drawing to a conclusion. Tell us a little bit about some interactions that you've had with people in relation to psychedelics in particular that have further opened your heart or further inspired you or made you feel super grateful for having been present to a moment to share with someone else.
All of it is exhilarating because you could just see the individual become more one with themselves, and once that happens, you just know they're gonna have a different experience. They talk differently, they move differently, they approach things differently, and they get it. They get that they are all of this. We are all of this world. And yeah, they chose me and I chose them. That aspect of it is beautiful. You know, a lot of people sign up. Most of them, I just come into their life and boom, a light bulb goes on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the same thing with me, because I'm learning as they go too. I'm learning with them, you know what I'm saying? I'm experiencing with them. Like, I'm building as more and more is being unveiled, you know what I'm saying, in front of me, like in real time. You know, like that's last weekend, you know what I'm saying? We was at the beach and, you know, after seeing all, you know, spending 48 hours with people working and being in that environment to being at the beach with them and being in that environment and just the gratitude to be able to just come together how we came together and execute it. You know what I'm saying? We executed. That's a chapter that's over, and we move forward from that, and we're gonna be doing a lot more of that, and especially in my field. You know, when I go on tour, like it's constant motion, communication, preparation, building, and you know, for the most part, I that's what fills my cup. You know, what I like to call the nectar. You know, all the things that go into, you know, the setting up before we set it up, right? That aspect of it, a lot of us don't appreciate. I do because I'm behind the scenes on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
This right now is the nectar. Appreciate all of it, and there's a lot of pieces that go into it. And for the most part, appreciation, gratitude, that's the biggest. You know, they chose me, and I want to do my due diligence to make sure that they're seeing themselves differently after the experience they had with me and moving forward with everyone.
Where do you recommend people who, upon hearing or seeing this, want to ask you a question or seek a reference or potentially connect with you? How do people do that?
Uh, um, you could email me, Mr. Snow the Vet at Gmail. I have a website, $1,000,000boys with a Z.com, and Instagram 48_Noel. I'm an open book. Ready to build? Let's build.
Thanks for taking the time to come and visit with me today. Thanks for your contributions to the conference. It was great to connect with you there, and I look forward to continuing to see where we all grow together.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and yeah, let's just continue to expand and build with ourselves, and just continue this oneness thing, and above everything, man, just be integrity with yourself.